The climate change conference in Dubai has ended. What was so obvious is the fact that St. Martin was not represented. Curacao had a representation in that of the Prime Minister. We saw Aruba being represented by the former Prime Minister, and St. Martin, you had taken into consideration Mike Eman represented Aruba. Taking into consideration the fact that St. Martin is so, impacted by various activities of the Atlantic Ocean in terms of hurricanes and what have you, why didn't you see it fit as the Prime Minister responsible for general affairs to at least be part of the COP conference in Dubai?
Okay, so indeed, in planning our year of travel and activities, I know what it is, but it's a climate conference that is held, and it was in both times. It was last year was in Egypt, this year in Dubai, and it is a very, very expensive trip. And the United Nations trip is also another very expensive trip. So it was one or the other for the government of St. Martin. Curacao did not opt to go to the United Nations, so they opted to go to COP. Aruba and St. Martin opted to go to the United Nations General Assembly, where the climate agenda is also very, very much highly discussed, and then the findings from that go on to the COP. Our ideas, our sentiments, our priorities as small island developing states were part of the Kingdom presentation. A youth of St. Martin was also able to be a representative. I've been trying for a long time, but of course the funding, I can't tell you off the top of my head, but unless you book 6 months in advance to go to COP, it costs anywhere from $800 to $1,000 a night for a hotel stay. The trip itself is quite expensive. So when I go to these international events, I cannot go alone. I go with support staff, which would be at least 2 to 3 other persons. So 4 times that amount on a daily basis was not within our budget for this year, but we will indeed be ensuring to increase our budget so that we can ensure St. Martin's representation, not just at one of these events, but at both. Because I've been able to validate my travel to United Nations and the value it brought to St. Martin, having all those meetings with other Caribbean entities, with international funding agencies, and being able to present St. Martin as a vulnerable, small island developing state. So it is key that we're there. However, since we knew we weren't going to be able to be there, we ensured that our priorities were part of the agenda. Last year, Mr. Ropieton, who's the Minister of Energy, really pushed it. After that, we had our conference in Aruba. And we are now basically as a kingdom really trying to see, and the Netherlands, how they can assist us, the smaller islands, to be able to get where we need to be, where climate change mitigation and adaptation is. And we now have access to funding for that based on these discussions. So even though we weren't there, our connection to the Netherlands makes it already very difficult to get financing from other countries. So we're there. Internationally, we will continue to grow that, and because now we're generating more funds in our budget, we will be able to make the trip next year, God's willing.
The Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, and I'm here today to say that we have made another momentous achievement in the Ministry of VSI. We have managed to increase the minimum wage from $9.95 per hour to $10.40 per hour, totaling a monthly wage of $1,801, equated to $1,000 monthly. We are striving to do our best for the public of St. Martin, and we encourage everyone to hold steadfast and have faith as we are now on the path to establishing a livable wage, whereby we would then have subsequent increases every year to get us to this livable wage. This increase of $10.40 will go into effect as of April 1st, 2024. This gives the business ample time to adjust their current payroll and prepare for the approved increase on its way. We are now one step closer to establishing and reaching our livable wage. I'm extremely happy. It has been a long process, a tiresome process, but we have made it, St. Martin.
At RBC, we know the roles you have to play can change quickly. Whether it's a homeowner, a new parent, today's head chef, or the family chauffeur. Whatever life asks you to be. RBC is a bank for all of you. Win Christmas cash with a no-fee loan from RBC.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
First, I would like to update that the works in regards to Orania School are progressing well. The contractors are moving along nicely. I have indicated before that the power supply was already upgraded and all the air codes are also in. So as soon as the contractors are completed with the roof repairs, then we are also completed with all the cleanup in regards to mold, and then the school can go back into use in January. So I'm happy to be able to explain this to the people of St. Martin. Secondly, I am really, really happy to indicate that the Council of Ministers have also signed off on the special needs education policy. I want to tell the people of St. Martin that this is one of the biggest policies project in order to make it possible for all of those persons with children with exceptionalities. So now the children with exceptionalities, our special needs children, have their rights when it comes to being educated on St. Martin. I want to thank the ministry for the work that has been done. And I know that there are many who are claiming victory on the special needs policy. However, I know it is in the benefit of the people of St. Martin, and I am happy that this is now finished and we can move on to the next chapter. Also today in the news, we have seen that the 1% have been paid to the public school teachers, and their request and the clarity of whether or not it would be paid to the subsidized school boards. Well, this is an agreement that has been reached between the unions and the government, and such the payment is also for the subsidized school boards. As minister, I will indicate that the subsidized school boards can look within their budget, their personnel budget, and where there is space, they can make the payment. If there isn't space, then they can request the funds for this. And with that, I believe that all the teachers know that they are treated equally when it comes to the 1% that has been paid over the year of 2023. I have also taken note of a comment raised that some teachers are indicating that though they can return back to work on the 3rd of January, some of them are indicating that yes, why not the 8th? And they are making reference to other teachers in the Caribbean. But we don't need to go so far, because right here on the French side, school is still in. And the difference is that we have gone to vacation a week before them, and they will be on vacation a week later than us. So it isn't that the teachers are treated different on the Dutch side and the northern side. Everyone gets around 2 weeks of vacation for the Christmas. It just depends on when do you go out on vacation. So on the Dutch side, we gone on vacation now, and the French side will go on vacation a week later, and we will come in a week earlier than them.
As you know, the holiday season is upon us, and there's a palpable sense of Christmas in the air. It is time for reflection, for joy, for generosity. And as we celebrate the spirit of Christmas, let us not only keep it to this festive season, but ensure that it carries on throughout the rest of the year and into 2024. The essence of Christmas lies in giving, not just the presents that you go out and buy and wrap in festive paper, but the gift of kindness that can continue to be given for free, understanding which people need, and compassion. Putting yourself in the shoes of another and understanding their pain today would be one of the best gifts that you can give to someone. Let us embody this collective Yuletide spirit, not just during December, as I mentioned, but during the entire year as true Swaligans. In the spirit of unity and shared humanity, let us strive to make a positive impact, not just during the holidays, but in our day-to-day lives, so that we as community members can ensure that no one is actually left behind. During Christmas, it's a great time to look out for our most vulnerable. It's a season of love, goodwill, and lasting connections, and I wish each and every one a joyful, blessed, and fulfilling season, spending time with friends, with family, and seeking to help as many as you can. Of course, during this time, we highlight that the pains of loss are even sharper than before, because it is a time of family. So for those who are facing challenges, personal loss and hardship, our heart goes out to you. And I ask the community to remember to have that is measured in the humanity that we show to others, the shared joy that we have, as well as I do have an update from the Civil Registry Department, and I made sure to get the very latest updates. We are being bombarded with people, even though we had 2 weekends of walk-ins for ID cards, where one weekend we had over 200 and another over 250 persons coming to get their IDs renewed. I'm still getting the calls daily, and so in the discussions with the Civil Registry head, Mrs. Kathy Snyders, she is looking into the opportunity to be able to offer whether it's extra personnel during the regular days, or in January, an opportunity for walk-ins again. So stay tuned. We will update as soon as possible for other opportunities. But do understand that the department is very much caught up at the moment with the preparations for the upcoming elections. And on that note, For those of the persons, we had over 3,000 persons who came to the building to pick up their voting cards during the phase 2. Currently, they're being delivered, but I want to remind persons that if by chance you have received voting cards for persons who have moved from that address, please bring them back or send them back to the civil registry so that they can be picked up in the early part of January. So once the post office has done their due diligence in delivering, any undelivered voting cards will be brought back to the Civil Registry Department for dissemination once again. And I'm asking individuals who did get the voting cards in their post boxes, but the persons on the card do not reside there, that you please send them back so that they be delivered here at the Civil Registry Department. And if by chance that still doesn't take place, the persons don't send them back, then there's always the opportunity to have that card reprinted up to and including the day of election. So let's try to avoid that as much as possible and look out for your cards that are being delivered as we speak.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurance.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
At RBC, we know the roles you have to play can change quickly. Whether it's a homeowner, a new parent, today's head chef, or the family chauffeur. Whatever life asks you to be. RBC is a bank for all of you. Win Christmas cash with a no-fee loan from RBC.
Ceiling now moves to 5,200, but it really only affects those persons who are earning above the current limit, which is 5,120. So you will see periodically we will increase the ceiling as well as increase pensions, as you mentioned before. And this is all in an attempt to ensure that NIS remains relevant and it takes into consideration wage index, wage increases, as well as inflation and so forth. So you'll see those changes from time to time. The fund is not in any immediate danger or anything. As you know, last year when we shared the results of the actuarial review, we indicated that if we did nothing, the fund would have about 12 to 14 years. However, the government took the responsible position, decided not to kick the can down the road, but to address it. So certainly as a part of these increases that you're seeing, these are modeled in. And as I said before, increases are built in. So that was a part of the model. And if you would recall, in July this year, the minister would have mentioned the reforms, and he did include at that time that pensioners could expect 3% increase for 2023. We weren't able to put it in 2023, so you'll see the 4.5% in 2024. So, as a matter of fact, pensioners, those who get those by check, would already have in hand pensions for January, which reflects that 4.5% increase.